The ideas expressed in the following presentations are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of ACI or its committees. ACI web sessions are recorded at ACI conventions or other concrete industry events and will be made available for viewing free of charge for 1 week. Thereafter, they will be archived on the ACI website or added to ACI's online CEU program, depending on their content.
Our next speaker will be talking about really, the rubber hits the road, so to speak. He's going to talk about the certification process of putting these things in. How do you get someone who's knowledgeable and understanding to do it? Our speaker is Mike Morrison. He serves as the manager of the certification program for the American Concrete Institute. He leads the development of potential new certification programs and assists ACI subcommittees with current board-approved programs. He serves as the liaison with development facilitators and works closely with the ACI certification team and the local sponsoring groups in the development, review, training, delivery, and promotion of the program to market. He also serves as ACI certification representative to standards development organizations and specifying agencies to promote the inclusion of language-required certification programs in standards and specifications. Considering all those hats he's wearing, I'm amazed he had time to come to be with us today. So please welcome Mike.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you this morning about our ACI's newest certification program. So adhesive anchor installation, it seems simple enough, right? You drill a hole, you clean it out, you inject the adhesive, you install the anchor, and then you protect it in some form. Or as Larry said when he spoke this morning, you drill a hole, shoot some glue in it, and stick something in it. That's what he quote unquote said this morning. So simple enough to do that, right? But we say don't bet on it. ACI has partnered with the Concrete Reinforcing Steel Institute to develop this program to credential installers that can demonstrate that they have the knowledge and the skill set to properly install adhesive anchors in specific orientations. When we did the program, part of what we did was we held some pilot programs, and I'll get into that a little bit later in my presentation, and we interviewed some of the attendees that were actually installers when they were leaving the pilot program. And they all were like, why do I have to be certified? I've been doing this for 20 years. I don't need to be certified. This is pretty, it's common sense, straightforward. So what I have now here is about a 4-minute video I'm going to show you that kind of explains to you why we're where we're at today. Hopefully. Is it loud enough?
A deadly accident inside a tunnel in Boston. A woman was killed late Monday night when a 3-ton concrete roof panel, part of the tunnel ceiling, crushed her car.
That appears one of the tiebacks on one of the tile panels released. A portion of the tunnel was constructed in 1995-96.
The NTSB's 2006 accident report on ceiling collapse at the Big Bay in Boston, Massachusetts, made recommendations to several parties, and a recommendation to the American Concrete Institute was to use the building codes, forms, educational materials, and publications to inform design and construction agencies of the potential for gradual deformation and anchor adhesives under sustained pencil load applications. As part of the overall response to the NTSB recommendations, ACI has partnered with the Concrete Reinforcing Steel Institute, CRSI, to develop a certification program for adhesive anchor installers. Adhesive anchors are recognized by the structural design profession as an important structural connection in many applications. The design and installation procedures are interdependent in achieving proper performance. The ACI-CRSI partnership recognizes that adhesive anchor installer certification required by the 2011 CI 318 building code for certain installation applications. Thus, ACI-CRSI partnered to facilitate regional availability of this program. Today, we have concluded the development of a written examination, writing of the examination MPI was developed for use in the practical portion of the certification program. Development of examiner's instructions and a performance examination, consisting of vertical down installation in concrete and vertical overhead adhesive injection using a blind setup with 1-inch tubing. Development of overhead and down test kits. With the vertical down setup, a box pump system can be used to hold 6x12 cylinders for a concrete slab can also be used. Drawings of all setups will be provided to LSGs. For the pilot testing program, professional testing required a minimum of 30 participants. 2 pilot programs were held in early 2011 with a total of 35 participants taking the tests. Experience levels vary from less than 1 year to 20 plus years. Participants included installers, engineers, and lab technicians that tested adhesive anchors. After the overhead tube injected material hardened, visual inspection and sectioning of the overhead tubes was performed. This is a critical step and important requirement in this program. The rubric guide has been developed for grading tubes and will be available for LSGs. Interestingly, most participants had difficulty with the overhead application. Since all participants in the pilot program expressed the need for an education and practice session, it is ACI CRSI recommendation that the program be offered in a 2-day format to be reviewed and hands-on practice session on day 1, followed by a written and practical exam on day 2. A program outline in parts of this packet was distributed to all of the sponsoring groups in June of 2011. This packet was assembled to provide LSGs with the information needed to move forward with this new certification program. If the LSG decides to offer the program, ACM staff will be available to visit the LSG to assist with the initial startup and provide an overview and orientation session.
Okay, so that's an overview of where we're at and how we got here today. Part of our response was to, like I said, we partnered with CRSI. There was also a 355.4 document was put together for acceptance criteria of adhesive anchors, and then most importantly was the change in the 318.11 building code that basically requires you to be certified to use adhesive anchors in specific orientations. That code was approved and on the street the end of July of 2011. We started working on this program in 2009. Basically had the program on the street about a month before the code was approved. Generally it takes about 3 to 5 years for a new certification program to get from the need to actually complete and out on the market. And this one we did in just under 2 years. 318.11 in Section D, in Appendix D, Section 922 specifically calls out the requirement for the certified installer. Installation of adhesive anchors horizontally or upwardly inclined to support sustained tension load shall be performed by personnel through an applicable program. Certification shall include written and performance tests in accordance with the ACI CRSI program or equivalent. So it's in the code. So it's required. There's no way around it. And now more people are starting to adopt 318.11, and now we're starting to see demand for this program. The focus of the program, what we were after here was, the installer has to be able to demonstrate that they can read, comprehend, and execute a set of instructions. That was the main thing. All the products, when they're used in the field, come with instructions. They're either in the bag or they're on the cartridge. Everything that the installer needs to do this correctly is there. However, it was very surprising to us that many of them don't read the directions, or they were just shown how to do this by somebody else who's got 20 years of experience. Besides the ability to read, comprehend, and execute, we want to take advantage of this opportunity and get the installer, educate them some more, make them aware about other things like ambient condition of the concrete, the material storage, their equipment. Do they have the proper equipment? Is it in good operating condition? The materials that they're using. Is this the right material to be used in this program? Is this material acceptable for use in this hole that has a crack going through it? Is this material acceptable for use in this hole that now was dry yesterday, but now has water in it. Do I blow the water out and now my hole is damp? Can I still use that? So, we partnered, with, like we said, with CRSI, as well as with the subcommittee that helped us build this, to make a workbook that really covers a lot of different aspects of installation. And you're going to have a well-trained installer on the job once they go through the ACI, CRSI certification program. So, besides covering all those things, most importantly is they have to pass the written and practical examination that we have. They have about a 75-question written exam that they get an hour to do, and then they have to demonstrate that they have the skills to properly install a vertical down anchor, and then properly use the systems to properly fill a void in an overhead application for piston plug and retaining cap. So let's talk a little bit about how the program was built. John D. Hazel and John Kahn and myself, we don't sit in the basement at ACI and think of, what's another good certification program to get out there on the market. That's not how it happens. These are all driven by our committees. So this program was started out with 355 in Anchorage. Don Meinheit was the chair. He approached John D. Hazel. They were starting to work on this program. They found a need for a new program. So they started to work on this, and there's a process that's involved that has to be approved by our certifications policy committees. And so there's a whole number of series of steps that have to be followed before a program can even be approved to go to market. And then we have to develop it. So a subcommittee is formed, and those subcommittees usually contain subject matter experts. And for us, we were lucky that a number of the members of 355 stepped over into this new subcommittee to help develop this program, which Don was the chair of that subcommittee when we went through the development. So we wrote a number of written exam questions. We have a pool of a couple hundred questions that we selected out, and we worked hard to have this focus on the installer. This isn't an inspector's certification program. It's for the installer. It's for the person who's going to drill that hole, hopefully clean that hole, install the adhesive, and set the anchor. After we got the written exam completed, we had a passing score study, and we flew actual installers in from around the United States into Chicago for a day. We met at CRSI's headquarters in Schaumburg, Illinois, and these gentlemen came in and took the written exam. We had them take the exam first, and then we went through the exam with them. They had to rate the difficulty of each question. We asked them for input on the distractors as well. And we also asked them what kind of experience somebody would have to answer this question and that question. 1 year experience, 5 years of experience. And with that passing score study, we developed a minimum passing requirement of 74% on the written exam. The practical exam was also developed by the subcommittee, which again contained the subject matter experts, and there was variations on that development of that whole process too. We held these two private programs in Chicago in January of 2011 and March of 2011. So we had about 17, 18 at each one of these. Basically what happened was we had installers come in the door. We met at a laboratory area, and we said, thank you very much for being here. This is what's going to happen today. And then you're going to go out, you're going to take this written exam, and you're going to go out and try and demonstrate to us that you know how to use these anchors in a down and overhead application. No training, no review, no practice. They all had experience. They were from the greater Chicagoland and Milwaukee area. They all had experience from 1 year to about 20 years. 7 out of 35 people passed. We interviewed them as they left. They were quite upset. A number of them were quite upset because they had been doing this for a long time. And they felt that if they would have had time to practice and somebody showed them what to do and they had like a review or an overview, if you will, that they were certain that they could pass this certification program. And we agreed with them. So we're strongly encouraging our local sponsoring groups to do this in a 2-day program with a review session the day before and a practice hands-on, followed by the examination the next day. In support of the program, we developed a workbook. This is a great workbook. I'm a little biased because we were involved in building it internally at ACI, along with the task group of members from the committee, the subcommittee that developed the program. It's got 8 chapters. You wouldn't think you would have 8 chapters in a workbook on how to install an adhesive anchor, but we get into an introduction, we get into the importance of properly drilling the hole clean, straight, perpendicular to the substrate, how to clean it, the different tools that are available to clean it, how important cleaning is, storage of your product, accessories, that's a big deal. Explained what the accessories do, and then we also have other things in there like the performance checklist, some articles from Concrete International, and an installer submittal form that could be used for bid packages. Additionally, we developed a training video. It's about 23 minutes long, covers the vertical down and overhead installations. Again, that was reviewed and approved by the subcommittee. So we've got a great little packet here that if somebody buys the workbook, watches the video, goes to a review session, they're most likely going to be able to get certified. Our certification is good for 5 years. So the last about 28 months, myself and John and John Eagle and John Kahn and some of the other folks in our certification department, we've been going all over the country setting up our local sponsoring group. We have a fantastic infrastructure within the United States with our sponsoring groups. So a number of them are very interested. We got upwards of about 42 or 44 local sponsoring groups that want to offer this certification program. So the red stars are locations that we've been to in the last 28 months, and the green ones are up and coming ones. Just a couple weeks ago we were in Hawaii, we got them up and running. In addition to those, we've got about 31 locations right now that you can go to get this certification program. Additionally, a number of the local sponsoring groups take it on the road in their state. So they might offer it in 4 different cities within their state. You don't have to go to Chicago, so to speak, to get certified in Illinois. You might be able to go to Springfield or Rockford. So you need to go to the website and check the local sponsoring group out and see what they have available. In addition to this, we also work with the Iron Workers Union through CRSI, and they have national training centers in New Jersey, St. Louis, and outside of San Francisco. We've been to 2 of those, and we did an orientation program with them, with their trainers. So about 25 of their trainers that were from those regions came, and we spent the day with them and explained to them the importance of this, went through the workbook with them, got them set up. The manufacturers have been very supportive of this program. They participate in all the orientation programs we do. They come, they help, and they also go through and get certified. And so we spent a day with each one of these locations, kind of, like I said, covering the ins and outs of the program. They have 105 locations throughout the United States that they do training in their little regional area. So those men and women are also going out and training some of their members, and then those members will now have to go to the local sponsoring group to get certified. So they're still going to have to go to the sponsoring group in Northern California to get certified, but they can get some training internally through their own union. In addition to the United States, we also are taking this international. Last June, a year ago June, John Kahn and myself went down to Taiwan, worked with Wen Chen and the chapter in Taipei. We spent about 10 days down there, and we got them set up. We worked with about 25 structural engineers at their National Center for Research, Earthquake Engineering Research, NCRE, and we spent about, like I said, 10 days there, went through the program with them, actually had them get certified, did some recertifications. They're implementing this program. The Taiwan government is requiring this program in a retrofit that's being done down there, a seismic retrofit, for all their schools, grammar schools, and high schools, and some of their hospitals. So they're requiring the contractor to have certified installers. So these structural engineers are now going out and offering it. That said, this program is available in Mandarin. Anybody interested in that? The workbook and the written exam. Further to that, we also have the workbook out for translation to Spanish, which is about ready. We're reviewing it. Yeah, We've got it back from translation, and it's under review now by some of our ACI members. So hopefully that will be available in short order here. So that's really about it. The program is available, as you can see, in many locations. It is live right now. A number of cities are offering it. There has been call and demand for it. And we look forward to seeing this take off.